When you want a true lover, send for me, send for me. I never want any other. Send for me, send for me. I promise you I'll be true. Send for me, send for me. Anytime, just tell me your problems and you find out, baby, I'll solve them if you're late one morning. Don't hurry if you got big trouble. Don't worry, just depend on your friend. Send for me, send for me. A morning, noon, and night, in the early bright. Don't you fret, my pretty pet, I'm gonna treat you right. Don't you dare raise a hand, I'm gonna share your every care. Anywhere, oh yeah, send for me, I'll be there. Send for me anything that upsets you. Send for me, send for me. I'll be there to protect you. Wait and see, wait and see. Don't delay, right away. Send for me, send for me. There's gonna be twiddly-dee, yes sirree. You and me, faithfully, send for me. Okay, the main point of the lesson that I want to have this time around is I've had a lot of people ask, how do I work my way up the neck? And what's the best way to do that? Well, I'm going to dovetail this on with another lesson from a really good teacher named Stuart Fuchs, but I'll give you more on that in a minute. Okay, first I just want to tell you that this song only uses 3 chords, but only 2 shapes. And in order to get that rhythmic kind of sound that this 50s song kind of demands, you want to have control of your strings to be able to mute them. And it has nothing to do with your strumming per se, unless you're going to learn how to chunk. And I'm not going to go into chunking. This is moving up your neck lesson, okay? And I'm not a good chunker anyway, because I do it up here and not with my hand. So what we want to do is, first chord out, we're going to make a G, and this is maybe old lesson, but for some of you, it's not. So what we're going to do is we're going to tie these 2 guys into the game, and we're going to forget the pointer for a minute, because we're going to make an F shape using your 2 middle fingers, making an F shape there. And if you slide them up 1 fret and bring this guy in to be your bar, now you have an F sharp, and one more time is a G. There's your G chord right there. Okay, so there's your bar G, and listen, you can control him. Okay, now your next shape is an A shape, so you're going to make an A, but you're going to use these 2 fingers and you're going to make an A. Now slide them up once and put in the bar. There's a B flat. You already know a B flat, right? And you're already barring it. Now if you move it up 1 more time, that's a B. And if you move it up 1 more time, that's a C. So now we have our G and we have our C. Now if you hold that C shape right there just for a minute, we're going to move it up 2 bars to the 5th fret, and that's a D. Same shape, because C, D. Okay, so we got C, C sharp, D. So there's our 2 shapes. This A shape, or that F shape to a G, okay? So now what this does is allow us, if we want to just run up it, we can. Here's our G, here's our C, here's our D, here's our C, here's our G. Okay, and it'll take you a while. This is not going to be very fast if you're a newer person working their way up the neck, but this is a good way to learn it. Okay. Now the thing that's important about using all 4 strings is you can control that volume, and as I mentioned, it has nothing to do with strumming. It has everything to do with this. Now watch. so you can shut it off and on. And here's where it comes in when you want that first strum to be rhythmic, like the kind of 50s rhythmic sound or electric guitar almost kind of a sound. You can get this, when you want a true lover, you can turn it on and off and get that punch that those bass lines would have had that you don't have on an ukulele. And that's the main lesson I want to show. Now the one that I'm dovetailing off of is one by Stuart Fuchs, and I think he calls it a lesson using kind of an Afro island sound to it. And what he does, it's the same shapes, and I'll let him teach the lesson, but it's going to be picking each string individually. And it's very important because, and this has been a good lesson for me for accuracy, because when you're a strummer, you can get that finger in there, or maybe your bar is not tight and you don't get a clear note. So if I didn't have a very good position on my bar, I could get this kind of sound. And it's all muddy, but when you're strumming it, you might not hear it because you're getting volume from the other strings that kind of hide it. So by picking it, you learn accuracy with your fingers and to get a clear tone. You also get a feeling on the pressure, and Stuart does a great job of teaching about how hard your bar should be, or squeezing it, and eliminate your hand pain. So I'll put up a link to Stuart Fuchs' video on that. If you haven't already subscribed to him, he's a great teacher. He's finally getting some notoriety in the ukulele world as far as ukulele festivals and stuff. I'm really glad about that. And so I'll put up a link to Stuart's video on his lesson, and also put up the video for Nat King Cole's video where he sings it. He does it in the key of F, so you won't be able to play along, but you'll be able to get the feel for the song and how he sings it. So have fun with the song, and when you want a true lover, send for me, send for me. Have a great day and enjoy the song.